In communities across the land, attitudes to housing are changing. First Nations are making important decisions about the houses of their people, recognizing that good housing is a path to stronger communities. From nation to nation, people are sharing what they have learned, strengthening the 5 elements of good housing: planning, building, managing, living, and maintaining.
Our population is roughly about 4,500. Half of the population live on reserve and the rest live either in off reserve, Moosonee, Timmins, Cochrane.
I lived in my father's house growing up, and the closest I could call it closest resembles a cabin, because they didn't have the furnace, they had the electrical stuff, and it was wooden panels and everything. It was very old school. We didn't have simple things like indoor plumbing, and for the longest time we didn't have our own house. It often felt like we were in some sort of limbo.
When I came on board 4 years ago, my approach as I came in was that housing was a business and not a program that First Nations run. Housing is a business because of the amount of the money that the First Nation has invested in their housing.
Where I am now and actually building some of the houses on the island and trying to bring it up to a nicer place to live for the members is something that I take personally, because I'm from Moose Factory. I was born here and raised here to when I was young.
Positive effects in dealing with an outside contractor was that all the materials and for the project were ordered and received on time. We didn't have to worry about the logistics of getting the material in. It is a set price on our project per unit, and if there's any cost overruns on a project, the contractor comes out of their pocket as opposed to the First Nation.
We've tried to incorporate what the Moose Cree First Nation wants, so they're pretty critical on the design of the houses. We'll present them with the drawings, and then we can work through the drawing before we actually build the house. We can adjust, move bedrooms around or move the kitchen around, make things bigger, smaller.
The contractor hired local labor. About 90% of the workforce were local labor. Also, we did train some of the workers, and in our first project we had a few of the carpenter helpers that were promoted to lead carpenters, and we had one individual that was promoted up to a site supervisor, which was positive for the workers and also for the community.
For our past 2 projects, we have our own project manager, our own Moose Cree project manager, and that's something we're going to keep building on. So eventually he or another member can assume that contractor role, and that way we utilize more of our own members during all stages of construction, not only at the contractor stage. So that's something I'd like to see for our members, and I think a lot of them want that as well. They're asking for it.
One of the areas that we're really proud of is that we work together. Moose Cree First Nation, we're not individual silos. I'm really proud of the fact that we're acting as more of a family than a team, and we're building more homes.
Being here now, after all those months of stress and worry and all that, we finally have our home, and it just feels really, really amazing. The kids have their own home, which is something they've never had. And that's a mom that's really special to me. And my youngest daughter, she's never had her own room before, so when she moved here, she was just excited, and she put all flowers in her room, and it's really special. I'm gonna cry.
I've always been proud of my First Nation. I think in every aspect, in every sector, there is opportunity to get better, and certainly housing. One day we will see 100% ownership for the Moose Creek First Nation. I think with the new housing that we have now, we're moving in that direction. So I think it would be good to see that one day.
We lived in a little tiny shack, 2-bedroom little shack, and that was one of the roughest times in our lives.
And there was no indoor plumbing, no kitchen facilities, no bathroom facilities. I felt that deep in my heart that I have to do something for this particular family.
My name is Vernon Root, and I've been the chief of this community for a number of years. From the days where I used to haul water and bring it into the house, and where we would have to go outside to the outhouses. We've developed a housing program that I'm pretty proud of.
We've been working in partnership with Saugeen First Nation for the last few years to establish affordable and sustainable housing in the community. For this project, teamwork empowered all the workers right across the board. So in the future, I won't be the one doing the project, they'll be the ones doing the construction and taking over my role.
The Skills Training Center is employment and training within Saugeen First Nation.
We started off by having a training program in place, and we were gearing up towards getting a certification. At that time, they were offering just a card to say that you were trained under carpentry. And I wasn't satisfied with that, and I wanted a provincial ticket for the boys.
Each summer we employ a majority of the students that do apply for employment. This year we had 49 students over an 8-week period.
I was just looking for work right after I was done high school. I did a carpentry program before that. I basically know how to build a house step by step.
Other First Nations should adopt this training model because it's easier when the training is on the reserve. It's more hands-on, it's more comfortable, and the apprentices see the immediate benefits of their work.
There is not enough people in the trades right now, and especially if you are qualified, if you are educated in the electrical, plumbing, any of the fields, carpentry, doesn't matter what it is, and if you want to work, you will always have a job.
I was very proud of how my house was built. I was very proud of the workers, and I feel that we need more Native workers like this to work on our reservations, to build our homes and keep them employed and things like that.
We have now houses that have water. We have decent sanitation facilities. We also have those important factors as heat and also the room that's required for a family to grow in.
My dream come true. We got a beautiful home. Our kids are happy. We have a beautiful community, and we love it here. Never could have imagined that we could have had a house this beautiful.
Our housing has come a long ways, and I'm really proud of that.
In the early 70s, we developed a policy in general for housing, and it's been worked on over the years.
There wasn't much like, there was a lot of repeated offense of stuff. And there was no no evictions really. People just kept doing whatever they wanted.
So now, because of the demands are higher, we have to strengthen our policies to make sure that we service the proper people.
6 years ago I started here, and at that time, while they had a policy, it was outdated. So working with the housing committee, it took a couple of years, but we managed to develop the policy and we've been implementing it ever since.
There's an application process to begin with, and there are, we require references on those applicants just to verify that they can afford, or if it's a service that's providing their shelter allowances. Our selection process is done by the administration. We have an ongoing list that we review. The applicants do update on a regular basis any changes to either income, family size, situations, or maybe there's other services involved with assisting somebody with to getting housing.
Sometimes it's not first come, first serve. It's what we think that some people might need more, like they're completely homeless. And some people, you know, they're saying, oh, I'm staying with friends, you know, they're okay with me here for now. It's, I don't think a lot of people know how demanding it is. Like, housing is very demanding around here.
Any new applicant has to start off in an apartment. We use it kind of like a probationary period. So they're in there for at least 1 year before they qualify for a transfer. And after 1 year, if their rent is up to date and there's been no complaints about them, then they could be transferred to a single unit.
We have over 400 units in our capacity, and it does take a lot of maintenance costs for those. So what we really need to do is try keep them cost efficient as possible.
One of the things we're working on right now is purchasing some property management software so that we can better manage the maintenance of the units.
Some of the tenants are young and they don't really know how to look after the places, so we kind of have to go in there, fix things, and we let them know what they got to do, like to keep prevent things from happening.
We sit down with the tenants at the beginning. We explain what the rental agreement is about, what their roles are as a tenant, what our role is as a landlord, and what is tolerated by the community.
We're over 90% of collecting rent, which I'm told is really good for a First Nation community.
I think the reason why we have such a successful repayment rate is we have a property management officer who's heavily involved in collecting rents. She keeps on top of the clients when they go into arrears. She sends them arrears notices right away. She doesn't allow people to build up too much arrears. So she's always trying to get them to pay extra, and she'll find ways to do it.
We trained our own people here, so everything here is made right on reserve. Kitchen cupboards are made right on site. They have their own electricians, they have their own plumbers, the excavations, everything is local.
In which case there's more labor dollars to spread around the community. So it stays in the community, and that's good.
My desire would be that there would be more available opportunities for people to have not just rental units, but they can have their own home.
As Miranda says, everybody wants to own their own home. It's a dream.
Right now we're developing the home ownership policy because we do have some single units that the mortgage is going to be up, the 25 years is going to be passed. And we have tenants that have been in the unit for a long time and they want to know. And I think that if they knew that in 20 years they're going to own that house, they're going to take better care of that house. They're going to, you know, more ownership for that house.
I love this place. As you could tell, I did a lot of painting and fixing it up when I moved in because I knew I wasn't going to go anywhere else.